Ladies and gentlemen, so we have this very special ministerial session, and as a chief guest, Chaudhary Birender Singh Ji, Minister of Steel, he has very kindly consented to our request. When he heard about our program and he was told about the details of this program, he squeezed out some time from his busy schedule, Chaudhary Birender Singh Ji, and so is the special representative of Telangana government, Mr. Rajaram Tejawat. He has also consented to join. To conduct this session, we have none other than our Mr. Pradeep Goyal Ji, Chairman Organizing Committee of this particular program. So I request him to get started with this introduction and introduction of the speakers. Mr. Pradeep Goyal Ji.
Thank you very much, Suhas. Friends, it's indeed a privilege and honor for me to chair this session, particularly more so because the Honorable Minister belongs to the same state where I come from. We are both from Haryana. Chaudhary Sahab was born on 25th March 1946 and belongs to a very illustrious family of political leaders. His grandfather was an agriculture leader in Punjab and Haryana at that time, which was a Punjab state, I think. Haryana was not existing. His father was a political leader, and Chaudhary Sahab khud, from the last 44 years, has been in the political field. He has been elected 5 times in the Haryana State Assembly and 3 times in the Indian Parliament. We have the fortune of hearing him with such a vast political experience. When the new government was formed in 2014, he was made the Minister for Rural Development, Sanitation, Panchayati Raj, and Drinking Water. In the recent reshuffle of the government, he has been given the onerous task of leading the Steel Ministry. Friends, Shri Ramchandra Tejawat Ji is the special representative of Telangana in New Delhi. He is a graduate in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Osmania University and postgraduate in Management from IIM Ahmedabad. He has also got Diploma in Public Administration from Syracuse University, New York. He has worked for IBM CMC before joining IPS in 1983 and then IAS in 1984. He has vast corporate and administrative experience both at Odisha State and Government of India as over a period of 35 years. He widely traveled across the globe, visited about 25 countries. He was on board of state PSUs, Defense PSU, IIT Bhubaneswar and Xavier Institute of Management as Director, Chairman and CMD. Friends, we are honored that they are both with us to present their respective views. I would first request Mr. Tejawat to talk about the youngest state of our country, Telangana, which he represents. And we would like to hear what Telangana is doing to invite industry and what is special in Telangana with respect to our field of business, which is material science and engineering. Mr. Tejawat.
नहीं दिस ओके ये पूरे होने से आई लुक वेरी यंग छोटा है ना शॉर्ट I'll take 10-15 minutes sir. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Pradeep Goyal, an industrialist, a scientist and an innovator. Our Honorable Minister and Chief Guest, Chaudhary Birender Singh Ji, our Honorable Minister, Government of India Mines Department, and earlier we had occasion to meet him in the Rural Development Ministry for taking a lot of help for the Government of Telangana. Mr. Wadhwa, Dr. Tiwari, eminent industrialists, entrepreneurs, scientists, government officials, and private sector functionaries. It's a privilege for me to present in this important conference on materials, engineering and technology and heat treatment, because I was not aware of the heat treatment, because subsequently I learned on this. Specific reference to defense and infrastructure. Friends, when I will briefly deal with the conference and the subject matter based on my experience and my knowledge and my feelings for it, and then I talk about Telangana, sir, with your permission. Present Telangana to some features. Friends, when the technology is growing exponentially, particularly in IT sector, and the rest of the fields are trying to catch with it. May not be able to catch with it, but on par with it, because somebody is putting billions and billions of dollars into some other sector, and as a spin-off, it's coming to electronics and IT, which we are using for human race, for our purposes. Now, one of the saying goes that had the same type of investment or research taken place in automobiles and metal sectors, which we are talking today, probably the steel would have been available for us maybe 2,000 rupees per ton, and automobile would have been moving much faster speed, and with 1 liter would have been maybe 150, 200 kilometers. You see how the life would have been different. But nonetheless, still lot of emphasis being given, and I think conferences like this and showcasing of this sort of things, thanks to the organizers, is going to give us, to the country, to India and respect of 29 states and 7 union territories, some sort of insight into what is happening, because at a government level or a political level, we will be thinking only on what is being presented to us in files. Now, Honorable Minister has seen several things, and Dr. Goel has presented today our micro ovens, which we keep heating maybe a cup of tea or water or milk or some food, is going to produce steel. I mean, I can never think of it. And talk of the 3D printing. In fact, I was telling the colleagues there, I said, if we continue with this, and if it really comes into our life tomorrow, or maybe a couple of years down the line, what happens to the various workshops and the mission shops which we have constructed and established by spending hundreds and thousands of crores? They will all be out of business. What happens to employment? What will happen to us? So, one small request I would make, particularly those industrialists, investors and scientists, is whatever development you are bringing, please bring in the human face into that, human aspect. Because the way we are progressing today, we are dehumanizing entire manufacturing process, either electronics or mechanical or whatever you talk of it. There is no human face. Including the journeys when we are making, whether in a flight or a train or in a bus or in an auto rickshaw or a taxi, if 2 passengers are there, we are not talking to each other. See the technology where it has taken to us. Now, specific reference to these 2 subjects which have been taken for India today by ASM is defense. Friends, defense has been the forte of only defense public sector undertakings till 2005. And thanks to the Government of India, it has been open to private sector. And fortunately, I had some role to play in those days for giving licenses to. I was involved in giving license to nearly 100 of the Indian companies, who's who today in defense. Most of them have taken license those days. Now, today in defense, 70 to 75% of the gadgets, and which you would have seen recently, we have signed a deal with Dassault for Rafale aircraft, 59,000 crores. It's a necessity for us. It's a fact. There's nothing can be denied. But just imagine how much of employment or opportunity we are lost had we also developed a technology, maybe like HAL or Tata's or somebody else, and could have said that we can also manufacture the similar aircraft with the same depth and same firing capacity. But we missed it. There are many things happening today, even tanks, which we are buying from Russia and elsewhere. The guns, we are buying from elsewhere. Torpedoes we are buying from elsewhere. Submarines we are buying from somewhere else. There are an endless list. And many of the companies, PSUs or others have displayed today they are manufacturing parts and components, private sector. My appeal to all of you, sir, my appeal to all of you, please get into the systems and main products. How long will be in the fringes and manufacturing only parts, components and subsystems? You will be only part of supply chain. How long? And will be playing a second fiddle to all these foreign companies whose capacity intellectually or otherwise technology, I don't think is very great compared to us. I don't think so. But what requires is courage and conviction and confidence that yes, I can do it. Can you say, sir? Only two voices. 100 plus are you sitting and then you are saying only, and you are all, and you must be all feeling pinch when we signed on 23rd of September deal of Rafale 36 aircraft for 59,000 crores. Many of you have felt very, very sad that the opportunity which would have come to me, some business, maybe 1 crore, 50 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 20 crores, 100 crores, 200 crores, 500 crores, 1000 crores has been lost. Still there is opportunity, sir, in that. 50% is offset. 50% is offset. So you have opportunity of nearly 25 to 30,000 crores worth of business to be taken by Dassault of France, they have to buy from India. It could be for the same thing or some other defense items. It could be anything, not potatoes and chips and software, no sir. They have to buy defense goods worth it. My appeal to all the entrepreneurs and through you, the other friends, we have represent various states and organizations, is that they will have various suggestions they will make it to you. I will not disclose because there are media and other things are there, not be fair to do it, but stick on to say that no, हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं, हिंदुस्तान के लिए हम कुछ भी करने के लिए तैयार है, not for somebody else. Don't get swayed by the offerings which they will make to you. There will be a lot of things, inducements. Say that ये धरती के यहाँ जन्म लिए हैं, इसी के लिए हम मरेंगे. जवानों लोग बहुत लोग जवान शहीद हो रहे हैं, हम शहीद नहीं होंगे, but sacrifice नहीं करेंगे. That's my only appeal to you. There is a lot of opportunities. If I talk of the missiles which Honorable Minister has seen in BDL, there is a business opportunity of 1,50,000 to 2 lakh crores of missiles I require in the next 10 years. कितना amount, sir? Somebody says BDL is here, BDL and Bell, कोई नहीं है. 2 lakh crores worth of one Akash missile which Honorable Minister had seen, that is developed by DRDO. Somebody DRDO here? They have developed, it's indigenous developed, and which is requires for 18 regiments is going to cost 1,80,000 crores. 2 they have supplied. So this is so much of business. And something which we depend on somebody else, I think for the last 13, 14 years, the Scorpene submarine is still underway. So if I would have been manufacturing, my entrepreneurs would have been manufacturing, my industry would have been manufacturing, I would have already inducted it. Only the first submarine had a dive only recently, about a month back, and they still today we do not know where the torpedoes would come from. Then coming to next is infrastructure, sir. We are deficient, whether you talk of a state like Maharashtra, Gujarat, which are really developed, or Tamil Nadu, or backward state like Odisha, Bihar, Telangana, very backward state. We are deficient in every infrastructure you can think of. It's a power, roads, communications, is a deficient today. Now, one of our friends while traveling, Dr. Tiwari was telling that no, there is so much of surplus power and no, why the Telangana is going to manufacture power. I said, I don't have transmission lines. Somebody is producing in Odisha and Chhattisgarh, Telangana is deficient, I can't transmit it. See the logistics missing. And 4 years back, sir, I had the opportunity of visiting Gujarat for a vibrant Gujarat. I led the delegation from Odisha as a principal secretary at the time. We had gone to see Tata and Adani's power plants. This Adani's power plant was producing 6 into 500 and 4 into 330 They are producing power, but it's not going to Hisar. It's not, it's meant for Hisar, I mean to Haryana and those places. Because there were no, I asked Mr. Adani in the evening when he had a dinner. He said, sir, my transmission line is not ready. Just imagine whether the public sector or private sector, we are not giving attention to the logistics. And this is where the infrastructure importance comes. And I appeal to all of you, and through you, your friends and your various circles which you represent, please pay attention because the country needs your support. Then, sir, coming to Telangana, which Honorable Chairman had given me the opportunity to speak about and also organizers, is the special salutations and wishes on the occasion of Dasara and various festivities to the organizers and Honorable Minister from my Chief Minister, Mr. K. Chandrasekhar Rao, and also Industry Minister, who had to lead a delegation to USA, he couldn't come, so I had to deputize for them. So, our best wishes to all of you. Sir, this is very young state, we are just not even 2.5 years, 2nd June 2014, we have came into being, and one of the most backward states in the country. May not be 29th in the rank, but maybe anywhere between 25 to 29, except Hyderabad. Because many people mistake it or say that no, तुम्हारे पास तो Hyderabad है और कोई problem क्या है? Hyderabad is only one thing, and rest of the other 9 districts, today we have 31 districts, are very, very backward and poor. Now, the new government has embarked upon 3 things. One is to produce power within our sector. So, we are planning to, and thanks to your brother, he has been very cooperative and helpful to us. We are going to set up power plants to produce nearly 14 to 15,000 megawatts within our sector, because we were born deficit on 2nd June. But still last 2 years, 2 summers we managed by buying power at the rate of 11 rupees 25 paisa per kilowatt hour, but supplied to our customers, consumers, both industrial and commercial and domestic at normal rate. We had to absorb that things. Being a very poor and backward state, but still we had to do, because we wanted to give confidence to the industries and commerce and the local people that here is a state which will not let you down in terms of the power. So, we are going to produce about 14 to 15,000 megawatts ourselves, and 4,000 megawatts as a part of the Bifurcation Act, NTPC is setting up in Ramgundam, for which, thanks to again your brother, he has been very kind to allocate a coal block, so that we will going to have it, and already Honorable Prime Minister had laid a foundation stone for that for 2 into 800 on 7th of August. So, we are going to have power. Maybe in the 3, 4, 5 years down the line, we will have sufficient power and maybe surplus onto that. Second aspect is, sir, we have 2 major rivers flowing through Telangana called Krishna and Godavari. Krishna on the southern border and Godavari on the northern border. They are perennial rivers, multi-state rivers like Maharashtra, this side Madhya Pradesh and Odisha for Godavari, and inside Karnataka, Maharashtra and now Andhra Pradesh, through Telangana. They are the riparian rights they have. We have sufficient water, nearly 1400 TMC, they measure in TMC, 1000 million cubic feet, for which we can irrigate nearly 1 crore 40 lakh acres of land, but there was no irrigation created in the last 60 years, which we missed the development. So, now we embarked upon creating irrigation potential for near 80 lakh acres by spending nearly 1.6 lakh crores. That is the money which we are going to spend it, and for this infrastructure we will be needing support from people like all of you. It could be pipeline, it could be cement, it could be steel, it could be earth moving machines and various things. We are already initiated a process. It is going to take 5 to 10 years time before we spend this money, because that is where a major constraint for us is. Third project is for public, it is not a welfare but also development, drinking water. Because in India, in a country like us, I think a couple of foreign friends are here, nearly 50% of our diseases are waterborne, and that costs the human lives, money, and his productive working life gets reduced. He wastes time. So, we thought that provide pure drinking water to the household, one tap at a government cost each house, a piped water pumped from different reservoirs, purified and given to them. It is costing me 42,000 crores, and we are laying 1.5 lakh kilometers of pipelines. So, those who are in the pipeline business and steel industry, I think you can imagine what is it opportunity for all of you and people like you elsewhere who are not been fortunate to attend this exhibition, 3-day exhibition in Mumbai. And coming to sir, now the industrial investment where you will be interested to know about it is that we have created an atmosphere, ease of doing business. That's what World Bank and everybody keeps calling. Now we have been in the last 1 year or so, we have been coming in the first 5, sometimes 2, sometimes 5, sometimes 7, sometimes 8 like that. But then you don't have to visit Hyderabad or talk to anyone personally or meet either a politician or a bureaucrat, any official. Sitting here or anywhere in the world, you can make an application for the type of investment you want to make it. On a 16th day, depending upon the investment level, 16th day, if you don't hear negative or anything else, it is deemed to have been approved, and it is not a government instruction, but it is an act of assembly. It is an act. So, you have a right to get a approval if you do not give it within 16 days. That is a fundamental thing, sir. We have unveiled this policy on 12th of June 2015, and so far we have given nearly 2,400, 2,500 clearances so far, and that's a record. And there is a company called Micromax mobile phone. You heard of it? The guy wanted to set up or expand his business, so we had invited him. Reluctantly, he visited Hyderabad because they have all seen a lot of problems with Telangana agitation, all those things, but reluctantly visited. We have shown him the land. By next day, he got the land, and 181 days he brought out the product. 181 days, 6 months and 1 day he brought the products. And now he is my ambassador to talk to people like you. He is my industrial brand ambassador to talk of Telangana. These are a few things which I am talking, sir. The infrastructure wise, we have on the website TS iPass, which is called it this thing. You can visit that thing. Then we have put about 1.5 lakh acres of land in different parts of the state. You can either identify and select that land and make the payment of 10% of it through the net, or if you find additional land is required, then visit our Telangana State Industrial Infrastructure Corporation. We also have our stall in hall number 2, you can have it. Then additional land you can be given, maybe in a couple of months time. We have a process for not only going through the 2013 Act of land acquisition, but also in a negotiation basis, we can negotiate with the farmer or landowner and organize the land for you. Now we have a largest number of SEZs, for the last 20, 30 years SEZs have come. I think nearly 40 plus are there only in Telangana, nowhere in the country. Maybe second probably is in Haryana or somewhere else. SEZs. Now, when I said my industry minister, he has gone to USA we are setting up, because we have a ecosystem existing in a pharmaceuticals. Countries 20 to 25% of the production and exports are from Hyderabad. Pharmaceuticals. When it comes to insulin, 20% of the world's production takes place in Hyderabad. World's production, sir. That is in a life sciences. Then we have in defense, large number of PSUs, all the PSUs units are there, laboratories, I think 5 or 6 are laboratories in Hyderabad, and many including Tatas and others setting up defense units, including I think Baba Kalyani's, I think they are setting up a unit for manufacturing some defense products in Hyderabad, large number. And for supply chain and employment, employees available, you can poach the employees. I am not advocating for that, but they are available. If somebody wants 500 to 1,000, I can organize in 1 year's time for you. Defense sector may employees, I can organize 1,000 people in 1 year's time, 6 months to 1 year. If you still need in a specific area at a government cost, we will train them and give it to you, hand over to you at my cost, not your cost in defense. Then we have pharmaceutical, defense and IT and electronics, Hyderabad. It has got top, Google is there, Apple has come recently, Tim Cook was here, I think probably you must have seen the news. Microsoft, then Amazon, all these guys they have a base. Google has a second unit outside USA in Hyderabad. Apple, same thing they are going to set up. This is in IT and electronics. Then comes to poultry. Poultry, Hyderabad and Telangana and part of Andhra Pradesh is a poultry base of the country. We have a large quantity of maize, turmeric, haldi, which is antibiotic product for these things to process, and chilies. for various things you would like to come forwards. Then we have a unique feature of Hyderabad, 160 kilometers of ring road ranging from 6 to 8 lanes. I would invite all of you to kindly visit once, those who have visited, visit again, drive on that 160 kilometers, nothing less than 100 to 150 kilometers per hour. You come back and then you take a decision. I'll bet on it that you will definitely fall in love with Hyderabad. There is a general saying, those who are, I'm saying only non-vegetarians, those who come and have Hyderabadi biryani and Gandipet water, there's a lake which gives drinking water, they will never leave Hyderabad. This is a common saying, so I would invite all of you to have. Sir, other thing is now, Government of India has kind enough to sanction that Pharma City, which is about 10,000 acres, and they also given the status of a National Manufacturing Investment Zone, the special things. We have one in the south, very close to airport, about 25 kilometers down to Hyderabad, and we have got another NMIZ, about 5 to 10,000 acres, we are going this thing, and pharmaceutical, that medical equipment park, and several parks we are going to set up in the next 5 years or 4 to 5 years. So please come and have a look at this thing, sir. Then another thing is entrepreneurship, the Tea Hub, one of the best in the country, and who have visited, including Mr. Ratan Tata was, he inaugurated that, and it's one of the best incubation centers today in the country. And we are going to have its only connectivity to west coast of USA. Maybe in the next 6 months' time, we will have an office of it to invite particularly Indian diaspora back to India, back to Hyderabad, back to Telangana, and also somebody else also to come and have a, participate in the incubation center, being a startup company, sir. So there are many things, but time constraint we have, and because me and Honorable Minister both of you have to leave at the same time from the airport, so I welcome you all to please visit Telangana. We're just talking in the tea room, they're saying that Honorable Minister was enamored with Karachi Bakery biscuits. It's a specialty of Hyderabad only, nowhere else you get it, sir. And I told you about the biryani and the water and the ring road. And those ladies who are coming with the pearls, the beautiful pearls you get it, and nice Pochampalli sarees. And hundreds and thousands variety of bangles. I mean, very, very cheap rate. With 1,000 rupees, you can get 20 pairs. And you can have matching with every dress. And Telangana, we call it as, it's a Hindu-Muslim culture, the Tehzeeb jo hai, I mean, true traditional Hindustani, and you are all welcome to visit Hyderabad and rest part of India. Jai Hind, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Tejawat. That was a brilliant presentation on your state. We can clearly see how passionate you are about the state. Friends, before I invite the Honorable Minister to address us, I would like to invite Mr. Ravindra Kumar. He's a postgraduate in urban management working with Ernst & Young. He has been nominated from the state of Jharkhand to give us a very brief overview about the state of Jharkhand. So just 10 minutes, sir. We'll just have a quick presentation of Jharkhand.
Hello. A very good afternoon to all of you present here. I would like to greet Sri Birendra Singh, Honorable Minister of Steel, Government of India, along with Ramchandra Tejawat ji and Pradeep Goyal, all of the delegates present over here, and of course ASM International India Chapter and TAFCON for organizing this. So giving the time constraint, I will not be a bit elaborate, but I will be very brief on my context. Government of Jharkhand, in its endeavor to promote trade, industrialist in the state, is doing much more activities in doing investment promotion and changing the policies. So as it is rightly said, before inviting the industries, we wanted to make our base strong. We have almost revised most of our policies and created 6 new policies, which was recently launched in our Mumbai road show. The delegation was led by our Honorable CM. And to give you a brief snapshot, I will show you a video about Jharkhand, what changes, what developments have been made in the state.
Jharkhand. Since its birth, this state has been realizing the impossible and outliving expectations. Demonstrating the very philosophy of India today. Make in India.
अब समय आ गया है जो झारखंड में आप अधिक से अधिक इन्वेस्ट करें और इस राज्य को समृद्धि के साथ साथ राष्ट्र को समृद्धि करने में अपनी भूमिका अदा करें।
I'm very clear that the operations of the Tata companies in Jharkhand are critical to the Tata Group's future. I'm therefore delighted that the state government has adopted forward-looking policies aimed at enhancing the ease of doing business, creating infrastructure, and encouraging skill development.
As per the World Bank report, Jharkhand ranks third in ease of doing business amongst Indian states because this state knows how to cultivate a business environment that is easy to work in, interactive system for identifying approvals. Single sign-on at single window portal eliminates the need of signing in multiple times. Single window also facilitates a completely online application for land allotment.
Robust processes, forward-looking industry policy, labor reforms, skilled manpower, land bank, and very amenable business environment makes this land of opportunities and potential a very good investment destination.
Jharkhand, a state of countless crucial commercial capabilities, with abundance of raw material sources, a large market base in and around the state, a large Southeast Asian export market, and well-established infrastructure. Jharkhand knows no one can grow as islands. Only the right kind of connectivity connects you with the future that you foresee for yourself. That is why Jharkhand has connected its people with a sound road, rail, and air network. Jharkhand, a state that knows power not only illuminates homes but also lives. A big leap has been taken towards sustainable power in Jharkhand to achieve the goal of 20,000 megawatt power generation capacity by 2020. Jharkhand, a state that knows opportunities multiply when knowledge meets research. Many directional changes like diversifying to other sectors like IT, ITES, food processing, tourism, manufacturing, infrastructure and energy, single window system for minimum number of clearances, and labor reforms for encouraging industrial peace and harmony in the state are being witnessed. Existing prominent research and development centers in Jharkhand will facilitate the world to make in India. This is a state that knows investing in youth is the one can make. Jharkhand, home to innumerable reputed institutes that provide skilled manpower.
We also have an access to skilled manpower through ITIs and MSME tool rooms. And therefore, this gives us a great setting and a great ecosystem for growth here.
That government can take integrated approach to the development of the education sector. I feel that in the eastern region, Jharkhand can be sort of a hub for development of some of the best institutions in the country.
With a view to promote sports and foster a spirit of sportsmanship, the Jharkhand State Sports Academy was established. A joint initiative between the Central Coalfields Limited, CCL, and the government of Jharkhand, the academy has so far selected 78 cadets and is training them to become future sportspersons for the country. The Jharkhand government is determined to provide superior quality healthcare services at affordable rates in the state. With an aim to provide all facilities under one roof, the government has taken sustained efforts to establish global standards of medical facilities through cutting-edge technology, clinical excellence, and transparency in services.
A lot of medical talent which want to come back to the eastern part of the country, they're just waiting for this boom to happen.
The government of Jharkhand believes in working seamlessly with industries to achieve all-round development and prosperity.
Jharkhand is a place to do business, to make investments in a big way in the mineral industry. That tells me the government is saying we're here to do business, we want the investments, we need the jobs. This is all part of the Make in India agenda. I think Jharkhand in particular, with the progressive efforts by this government in the past year and a half, makes it an incredibly exciting place to explore.
I think in the last year and a half, the business environment has dramatically improved. I think the government is really working with industry to solve our problems and make things happen. So really recommend Jharkhand as a place to invest in going forward.
People are very, very friendly, perfect industrial relationships, and very, very good quality workforce. And overall, it has been a very great experience. We are looking forward to expanding our services to the rest of the Jharkhand.
Government is initiating a large number of policies and for the development of the state. For the first time, we have a stable government, and we would like to continue to be playing the supporting role in the training of human resources for the state.
One of the best things we like in Jharkhand is, all the licenses, you're going to have one window to clear. If you get all the licenses to one window, this is what we're looking for. It saves our capital cost, it saves time, it saves a lot of things. So that's one of the reasons, why Jharkhand is of a great attraction to us.
Jharkhand is a state that knows that ruling people is not governance. What empowering them is. The government is not just a facilitator here, but a partner in growth. And which is why several policies like Industrial Park Policy 2015, Tourism Policy 2015, State Solar Policy 2015, Export Policy 2013, Procurement Policy 2013, Feed Processing Industry Policy 2015 have been framed that favorably affect business and growth in major industries, and which is also why Jharkhand has emerged a favorable investment destination.
तमाम निवेशकों से मैं अनुरोध करता हूँ मेक इन इंडिया को सफल बनाने के लिए मेक इन झारखंड को भी आप सफल बनाएं।
As one of the richest states in terms of natural resources, the state's industries enjoy a unique location-specific advantage as Jharkhand is close to the vast market of eastern and northeast India, and Jharkhand today has been on a growth trajectory under the visionary and dynamic leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Shri Raghuvar Das. Jharkhand is a state that knows only the combination of nature, people, technology, and a productive philosophy can give you in return what is unimaginable, unprecedented, and beyond expectations.
Thank you, Mr. Ravindra Kumar, for that presentation about the state of Jharkhand. I have a very quick task to perform before I request the Honorable Minister to speak. Mr. Vijay Saha has written a book on this occasion of this conference, which is titled Indian Steel Challenges and Opportunities. Since this is directly relevant to the Steel Ministry, may I request Mr. Vijay Saha to come up on stage, and may I request the Honorable Minister to please release this document. Thank you very much, Mr. Saha. Thank you, sir. Friends, it's my privilege to now request the Honorable Minister to give his address to the audience.
On this occasion of International Conference and Exhibition on Materials, Engineering and Technology, sitting on the dais, the Chairman of the Organizing Committee, Shri Pradeep Goyal, Advisor to Telangana Government, Shri Ramchandra Tejawat, and distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would explain why I opted speaking from here. When somebody is to speak from that place, the thought process is altogether different. And when somebody is to, as Mr. Ramchandru has adopted, going from one corner of the stage to the other corner, the thought process would be in an advisory sort of thing. And speaking here, from here, of course, it is also a different. Whenever I have the opportunity to speak on any of the topics, it's in a very regular way that speech is being prepared by the ministry, and the ministry is to deliver that. But I have been on a different footing, and whenever I speak from here, not from here, or not from here. But because of time constraint, today I am to strictly follow what I have written or what my ministry has written. I would like to thank the India chapter of ASM International for inviting me to this international conference and exhibition on materials, engineering and technology. The theme of the conference, Emerging Materials for Infrastructure and Defense, is very topical. I'm glad to see that the Make in India drive steered by Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi has received very enthusiastic response from India and abroad. Conferences around this theme like this one are playing a key role in taking the dialogue and the drive forward. PSUs under the Ministry of Steel are contributing to the development and production of steel for defense needs since last many years. These companies have provided steel for Agni missiles, naval warships, tanks, and satellite launch pads. I have been stressing on a new thinking and approach to research and development in steel industry. R&D can be used to develop cost-effective, environment-friendly and new technologies. Moreover, research and development can also be used to develop new products and technologies that help in promoting steel usage. When I talk of usage, there is a stiff competition between steel and the products which are very near to steel industry. So it is not only that in any of the construction or any of the infrastructure work or any of the other activities where steel is primarily used. Now, if it is used, it can be used only when we have efficient marketing system. About a week back, I was in Cochin, and from there I had to go to about 180 kilometer Calicut, and it took me about 5 hours. So on the roadside, every 5th or 6th hoarding, and not the simple hoarding, very large size of hoardings are regarding the steel products. But all of these steel products hoardings were from private producers. And then I had a meeting with my PSUs and I told them that now this is the change. This is how you are to move. You are not now no more having a brand name that may be of sale or something which can be sold out without any marketing. And I recollect one of the speeches of President of India, Honorable Pranab Mukherjee, in one of the convocation of a university. He said that 600 years, the changes which came in our society, in the last 60 years, more changes have come as compared to 600-year changes in the society. And what he said, that I am talking of 2 years back, that now the changes of 60 years, those changes will be not that visible, the changes which will take place in next 6 years. So this is how the world is moving, and that's why the technology, the innovation, the research development, these are the areas where India should take it as a primary, as a priority, and this can only lead us what we are thinking of, a world economic power. And of course, steel is also a very important component in that, when we contribute about 2% of the national GDP. So that's why stereotyped producing of steel is not going to help the steel industry. And the day I took over as steel minister, my first meeting with my officer was to know about R&D. R&D may be in the field of PSUs or even R&D in ministry, or even when we talk of certain very big players of steel industry. It requires lot of brainstorming to make it more effective, more meaningful as far as country's growth is concerned, as far as steel growth is concerned. We all know India is among the few major steel producing nations in the world, which is registering substantial growth in production and consumption of steel. The latest figures for core sector output released last week, steel sector was leading the growth trend with a 37-month high in expansion of steel output at 17% in the month of August. But we must not become complacent. We need to think on mid-term and long-term basis. For sustainable increase in demand, we will have to start exploring new areas for increasing steel demand. Government of India has planned. Why, when I say the exploring of new areas for increasing steel demand, as I've already explained, there is a competition there. That chapter or that era is gone. When we have a mindset, because I know Indian psyche, whenever some produce is or some product is there, if it has lived its life, still we try to use it while giving some shape or making some amends to that product. But now the way society's mindset is changing. Now we are in an era of use and throw. And when you are in an era of use and throw, then other materials like plastic and all that, those would be more relevant to the society's consumption. So this is what I think that we have to start exploring new areas where steel is consumed as not as an essential product, but it should be liked in comparison with other products. That should be the attitude. And there, because research development doesn't mean that you come with something new, but you should also have the research to see that how marketing can be captured by your imagination, so that it should get it going for the steel industry also. Government of India has planned big investment in infrastructure and construction sector, expansion of railways network, development of domestic shipbuilding industry, opening up of defense sector for private participation, and the anticipated growth in the automobile sector, which are expected to create significant demand for steel in the country. What I have been told is that now in future, the car making industry all over the world, we will be producing 28% of the automotive cars in the world. So this is a market where when I was having a round with Mr. Pradeep for this exhibition, I was putting specific question that as far as innovation in steel is concerned, do you think that our produced steel is used in the motor vehicle? There was a response, of course, yes. But the major part is the steel body of the vehicle, not of the engine. Engine parts are still to be imported. So these are the areas where we are to find out how effective we can be as far as R&D is concerned. Scope for further increase in steel demand is tremendous. The per capita steel consumption in the country is 61 kg, is much lower than the global average of 208 kg, or that of the other major steel producing countries like China, 489 kg, and South Korea, 1114 kg. We need to work in a planned and focused manner to increase the demand. Steel industry has to work hard to create and capture a market for itself, and in all growing areas. Some areas where we can look at are construction of steel intensive structures in rural and urban areas, promotion of steel in infrastructure such as bridges, ports, etc. in coastal areas. Other sectors covered under planned expenditure. This year, the provision made in our budget of 2016-17, about 17 lakh crore of budget. Planned expenditure where steel can be used as major component. The amount was placed 2,21,000 crore for infrastructure, and the Ministry of Steel, the steel companies and other stakeholders need to emphasize and highlight the benefits of using steel. For example, they can highlight that steel-based structures have various advantages like shorter lead time in erection of structures by 50%, longer life durability leading to lower life cycle cost, and high design comfort with better aesthetic and greater flexibility. These are the points where we can have more, create more attraction for steel marketing. Steel based on structures are also eco-friendly, as these can be recycled to reprocess, use steel, and also it prevents other environmental related hazards like river sand, quarrying, and aggregate crushing operations. You must have been the knowledge of that there is a strong thinking, and it may be applicable, that more than 15 years old diesel vehicle will not be allowed on the road to ply. That may be enforced in near future. And you must have seen there is a lot of outlets in our country where it is written that pre-owned vehicle, and if that restriction is placed, then those vehicles which will not be able to ply, they would be available for scrap, which can be used for steel making. And in that eventuality, we may have steel plants in other parts of the country where there is no iron ore is available. So this is how we are thinking that ultimately I have asked my ministry to have a survey of these kind of pre-owned outlets and to find out what quantity would be available in the near future. And this is one area where even the steel making, the product would be of high end. And of course, when we talk of eco-friendly, that is one factor which adds to this dimension. And the steel-based structure are also, steel bridges can be used in place of conventional RCC bridges wherever possible because of the cost advantage. Cooker installation is quicker and longer lifespan. Steel sector plays a key role in employment generation. The more capacity we create, the more opportunities for direct and indirect employment will be created. I am of the view that industry needs to shoulder the responsibility of being a partner in this endeavor and to help enlarge the social security umbrella by minimizing contractual jobs. But in industrial world, the more popular slogan is hire and fire rather than other important aspects. This is, of course, it may be the state responsibility, but it is the responsibility of the society as such. And we are, of course, part and parcel of this society where these kinds of emotional and sensitive issues are also to be addressed in the same way. Moreover, steel sector, all companies must join government's drive to skill India. I have instructed PSUs under the Ministry of Steel, which are spread across India, to provide their facilities and expertise for skill enhancement of rural and urban youth. All of us will grow when India grows. A joint venture agreement for India's first auto shredding plant was signed recently between MSTC Limited and Mahindra Intertrade Limited. This will be a revolutionary step in sustainable development as it aims to recycle waste in a cost-effective manner by preserving the inherent value. I am of the view that this can pave the way for establishing small steel plants. This is what I have explained in the consuming regions of our country, as raw material will be provided by such shredding plants, which can be aggregated by recycling clusters of zones. I believe in looking at things from a fresh perspective and with an open mind. All of you are welcome to share your ideas and views on how we can improve steel consumption in India and any other point that you want to share. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your address on the current status of the steel industry and where you see the vision for going forward, particularly develop our research and development. We have a very small task to perform. I know both the gentlemen are in a hurry to go and catch their flight. We want to honor them with a small token of a gesture of our gratitude for sparing their time to come here. May I request my colleagues to please bring the memento. Thank you very much. The session is concluded.
Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, we are not breaking. We are immediately starting with the session on steel. So kindly be seated, and I request the session chairman, Mr. Nirgudkar, to please come on the dais.